The first thing I did after my rebirth was send my dowry back to my family. In my past life, I exhausted all my wealth only to be starved to death by a pack of ungrateful wolves. In this life, I decisively gave up, let them be crushed by poverty or exhaustion. Hello everyone, welcome to Empress Revenge Stories. Let's begin. Everyone in the capital thought I was vicious and sharp-tongued. My husband said I was talentless, unvirtuous, and jealous beyond measure, that I was the reason he had no sons. My daughter said I valued wealth over love and broke apart true matches, that I was why she was separated from her beloved. Yet I had raised one to be Grand Secretary and sent the other to the Empress's seat. I sought only to share in their glory. But in the end, I was cast out, reviled by all, and starved to death on the streets. In this new life, I decided to give up entirely. If I couldn't kill them, I'd exhaust them. When the old madam was critically ill, she proposed for the third time that Lin Xian take a concubine to counteract the bad luck. This time, I didn't object, I agreed readily. In my past life, everyone blamed me for hastening the old madam's death, but the physician had already said she had little time left. I had shouldered that unfilial reputation for nothing. Perhaps it was because a burden had been lifted, or perhaps it was a final flicker of life. But the old madam seemed to rally. She had the matchmaker select a slender beauty from Yangzhou, exquisite in features, so lovely that even women would feel pity for her. Mother and son truly shared the same taste. Lin Xian adored this type. But this time, the old madam had miscalculated. Lin Xian's lack of heirs was due to his constitution having been damaged in his youth. Moreover, the physician had privately warned that if Lin Xian indulged too much in wine and women, he wouldn't live past 40. In the past, to protect Lin Xian's reputation, I had taken the blame for our lack of children. But now, no more. When the matchmaker arrived, I pretended to be deeply troubled. My mother-in-law's household is not well off right now, and my husband has recently been helping out several colleagues. I'm afraid we simply can't afford the redemption fee. I even had the accountant bring out the ledgers. TCH. Lin Xian valued face above all else. His salary was meager, yet he loved to play the big spender in front of others. All these years, the household's expenses had been covered by my dowry. I had once thought that as husband and wife, we were one, and I wouldn't hold it against him. But now, why should I shield his shame? I casually muttered, if only Lord Zheng would repay the silver he's owed over the years, then we wouldn't have to worry about a concubine for my husband. Sure enough, the very next day I heard the rumor on the streets. The old madam of the Lin household had sent servants to Lord Zheng's residence to demand payment, a very undignified affair. Lord Zheng, outraged, cut ties with Lin Xian. Scholars value their reputation above all, and the old madam's actions had essentially put Lord Zheng in a difficult position. Lord Zheng was a top-tier scholar who had passed the imperial examinations on his own merit, unlike Lin Xian, whose position was bought. Lord Zheng had a bright future, and everyone in court was eager to befriend him. But the old madam had only managed to offend him. Lin Xian, constrained by filial piety, couldn't speak out against his mother, so he turned his anger on me. Why say such things to mother and stir up such a fuss? Do you know how many people are laughing at our household? If you had just produced the silver, none of this would have happened. You're deliberately trying to keep me without heirs. I dabbed my eyes with a handkerchief soaked in chilly water. They reddened instantly. After decades of marriage, is this how you see me? If you had any skill in managing affairs, would our household have fallen to such a state? Lin Xian, born poor, hated being reminded of his inadequacies. Wang, don't think that just because your family has some money, you're something special. You're nothing but a merchant's daughter, vulgar and utterly useless. This time, I deliberately provoked Lin Xian, and he exploded, stripping me of my authority over the household and confining me to my quarters. But managing the Lin household was a thankless task. No one in their right mind would willingly jump into that fire. Lin Xian couldn't find anyone suitable to take over, and the household soon fell into chaos. Even the servants' wages couldn't be paid, and the staff began to grumble. Meanwhile, it was the season for performance reviews, and Lin Xian was running around like a headless chicken, without me secretly greasing the wheels as I had in my past life. This promotion naturally passed him by. Lin Xian thought his smooth career was due to his own brilliance. In truth, it was my silver that had paved the way for him. Now, Let's see if he could still reach the position of Grand Secretary. The other day, Lin Xian said he would allow me to manage the household again to atone for my sins. Ha! As if he were doing me some great favor. I refused, still pleading illness. Left with no choice, Lin Xian summoned our daughter, Lin Yao, to take over. In my past life, to protect her, I had sent her to my family's home to serve her grandparents. Lin Yao reaped all the fame and benefits, yet complained that my family's home wasn't as prosperous as the capital, and took it out on me. At the time, I thought she was young and didn't understand how blind and foolish I had been to treat such ingrates as my own heart's flesh. Mother, what are you so upset about now? The household is in chaos. Grandmother is ill, and all you care about is your own comfort. When did you become so selfish? This was my dear daughter. The maid beside me spoke up. Miss, not a single word about your mother's health, only complaints on your father's behalf. You have no idea how much she's suffered these days. Lin Yao faltered, then quickly regained her composure. Isn't it just that grandmother wants to find father a concubine? What man doesn't take concubines? Father has no son, how can I rely on anyone? Mother, why are you making such a fuss over nothing? My heart turned cold. This daughter was truly beyond saving. I slapped Lin Yao across the face and ordered her out of my courtyard. She stared at me in disbelief, then coldly warned me not to regret it. I don't know how she twisted the story to Lin Xian, but in the end, he scraped together 5,000 taels to take that Yangzhou beauty as a concubine. Lin Yao came to gloat. You see, father took a concubine because you refused to compromise. Once sister Bai gives birth to a son, where will you stand in this household? If I were you, I'd go make peace with him now. I remained unfazed, which only made her more frantic. Within a month of Lady Bai's arrival, the old madam's health began to improve, and Lin Xian stayed in Lady Bai's quarters every night. Lin Yao also treated her like a sister, and everyone in the household said Lady Bai was a lucky charm who had brought joy to the master and the miss. That's just how these two were, a little favor, and they were bought. Those who were constantly good to them were ignored. One day, Lady Bai came to pay her respects for the first time. Forgive me, madam, I should have come sooner, but I've been terribly busy. It was a courtesy in name only, truly, a provocation. Since you admit your fault, go kneel at the gate. She hadn't expected me to refuse the script. Lady Bai signaled her maid, who slipped out to fetch help, and I turned a blind eye. Lin Xian, just back from court, stormed in as if I had peeled his skin. Wang, what madness is this? What has Jin Yang done to deserve such humiliation? My lord, Lady Bai has never once come to pay her respects since entering our household. Is that no fault in your eyes? Without rules, there can be no order. I merely administered a small punishment. How else is one to manage a household? At that moment, Lady Bai let out a sweet, my lord, and Lin Xian's brain turned to mush. He immediately put on the airs of the master of the house and humiliated me before everyone. Wang, you're just a merchant's daughter, while Jin Yang's family were officials. If not for her family's fall, she would have been of higher standing than you. How dare you treat her this way? I could make her my equal wife, and no one would say a word against it. This was exactly what I had wanted. I had already bribed several censors and was waiting for an excuse to impeach Lin Xian. Now I had one. Favoring a concubine over the wife was more than enough. The emperor, having suffered greatly from his favored consort in his youth, despised ministers who slighted their wives for concubines. How absurd that Lin Xian, after all these years in office, had never bothered to learn the emperor's preferences. The very next day, Lin Xian was reprimanded in court and disgraced. He promptly pleaded illness and stayed home. Within days, censors impeached him for dereliction of duty, and he was demoted to a 6th-rank official. The paid-off courtesans really had their uses. With the authority to manage the household, Lady Bai's first move was to cut my allowances. Madam, the summer heat is unbearable, but ice is hard to come by. I'm afraid we won't be able to supply it. Please bear with it. Indeed, the household's expenses were high, besides the basics. Lin Xian was always asking for money to fund his poetry gatherings, and Lin Yao needed silver for jewelry and fine clothes. Now that all that support was cut off, Lin Xian would have to figure out how to support his own family. He had always complained that I demeaned him with money and sullied his scholarly pride. Well, now he'd get his wish. I nodded approvingly and turned to my maid. In that case, stop sending the master and miss their allowances, and put it all toward mine. Lady Bai's expression stiffened. Madam, that hardly seems proper. My maid cut her off. The madam is spending her own private funds. What business is it of anyone else's? If Lady Bai objects, she can pay for the ice from the household accounts. Otherwise, please leave. Lady Bai left, fuming. I heard she started a series of absurd maneuvers afterward. On the surface, everyone respected Lady Bai's management, but she had no money, no staff, and had cut the servants' wages repeatedly. Naturally, they were resentful. The food in the Lin household grew worse by the day, even the cheapest grain couldn't be afforded. And when Lin Xian invited colleagues over, he was thoroughly humiliated. Finally, Lin Xian couldn't take it anymore. He stormed in with a sour face and said, Wang, you've made your point. I'll overlook what happened before. You take back control of the household and don't cause any more trouble. Oh, so only when you're out of money do you remember me? I used the physician's advice as an excuse. The doctor said I shouldn't overexert myself. I'm afraid the household management will have to remain with Lady Bai. Since you're ill, hand over your private funds to Jin Yang and stop fussing over it. How quickly he shed his pride. No more talk of dignity or integrity now. It didn't matter. There was little silver left in my private accounts anyway. With that, Lin Xian regained his sense of authority and began lecturing me again, eating the food and cursing the cook. The old madam passed away. Her brief recovery had been a mirage. The funeral was shabby, for without my money, Lin Xian was deep in debt and couldn't afford a grand affair. Having been blacklisted by the censors, no one applied for him to be exempt from mourning. After 3 years of mourning, who would remember him at court? Even if he could return to office, it was doubtful. Even in mourning, Lin Xian continued to indulge in pleasures, spending every night with Lady Bai. His daughter Lin Yao followed his example, sneaking out to meet her lover. Several times, she was almost caught by servants, but I covered for her. In my past life, she had cried about true love and blamed me for separating her from her scholar. This time, I would let her have her way. That scholar had nothing, not even a proper house, only a widowed mother. I wanted to see if she would find the happiness she claimed to seek. With my silent encouragement, Lin Yao went all the way. Since she was set on it, I helped arrange a match. Using the excuse of praying for the old madam, I took Lin Yao to White Horse Temple for 3 days of fasting. Sure enough, her affair was discovered by Abbess Jingwei and several pilgrims. She had been brazen enough to meet her lover in broad daylight in a meditation room. All eyes turned to me with pity, and I played my part, pretending to faint from shock. Naturally, I left the matter to Lin Xian. Why should I play the villain? When he learned of it, he flew into a rage and had Lin Yao beaten with the family rod until her skin split. But she still saw no fault in her actions, insisting that she and her beloved were a match made in heaven. Though I knew she had always been selfish, I was still furious. She would sacrifice her family for her own desires. Even a dog would be more grateful. Lin Xian locked her in the ancestral hall and planned to marry her off far away. Her maid Yenner came crying to me. Madam, Miss won't eat, she's starving herself. In the past, I had always given in to her demands, and she used hunger strikes to get what she wanted. This time, I said, let me know when she starves to death. Yenner left in tears, desperate to marry her beloved. Lin Yao announced in front of the matchmaker that she was pregnant. Her reputation in the capital plummeted, and she had no choice but to marry the poor scholar. Before the wedding, she came to demand a dowry. Mother, I'm an official's daughter. Even if I can't match a princess or a noble lady, I should at least have 10 miles of red dowry. The household isn't in my hands now. Talk to whoever's in charge. Clearly, they all knew the household's finances depended on me, but they pretended not to see it. Lin Yao's eyes darted. I'm your own daughter. Do you want me to be mocked? You have to give me a proper dowry, at least 10,000 taels. What a joke, no skill, but plenty of greed. 10,000 taels could buy a minor official a post. But spent on Lin Yao, it would only breed resentment. No matter how she raged, I stood firm. She ended up pawning the jewelry from the treasure pavilion, scraping together a few thousand taels. Without her jewels, she didn't even look as good as her maid. Lady Bai, knowing Lin Xian disapproved of the match, gave her a shabby dowry, even sending empty boxes to pad the display. Lin Yao and Lady Bai fought constantly, their earlier closeness now a joke. After the hurried wedding, Lin Xian had the clan elders strike Lin Yao's name from the family register. She didn't care, she was still smug about her marriage. With the household mired in scandal, Lin Xian threw poetry gatherings to prove his talent, and his son-in-law often showed up uninvited. Through these gatherings, they grew somewhat close, but the gatherings only added to the ridicule. Everyone knew Lin Xian's poetry was shallow, and his son-in-law was just flattering him. They were a matched pair of fools. Within a month, the household was bankrupt, and the gatherings stopped. To save money, Lady Bai sold off many servants, but most of their contracts were held by me. I simply freed them. The Lin household was left empty. Now Lady Bai and Lin Xian had to do everything themselves, and Lin Xian bitterly resented it. I had spoiled these ingrates, making them wait hand and foot, and in the end, they cast me out without a second thought. This time, I would watch them fall. Perhaps realizing there was no money left, Lin Xian and Lady Bai started fawning over me again, sending sweets and tea, playing the part of kindness. As if I couldn't see through it, I pretended to be won over and drank the lotus seed soup Lady Bai brought. In the middle of the night, she and Lin Xian rushed to my courtyard, certain their scheme had worked. Wang, you shameless woman, how dare you take a lover in this house? Lady Bai threw open the door, chirping, sister, how could you do something so disgraceful? But when they entered, all noise stopped. I knew Lin Xian too well. He was too used to luxury to endure hardship and would resort to any dirty trick to get my dowry. Lady Bai was no better. The two had plotted to frame me for adultery, hoping to control me. They were so sure of themselves that they sent a maid to buy aphrodisiacs without any subtlety, but the remaining servants were all my eyes and ears, so nothing escaped me. That night, I turned their plan on its head. My maid and I knocked out the man they'd sent from behind, tied him up, and locked him in the woodshed. Lin Xian's face turned red with anger when he saw only my maid and me in the room. What is this, my lord? Fabricating such lies to slander my virtue. What? Are you trying to make room for Lady Bai? Lady Bai quickly tried to recover. Sister, you misunderstand. The servants gossiped about strange movements in your room, and my lord spoke in anger. Humph. Lin Xian, I never knew you had such gall, to let a concubine tower over me. Before I saw him, I heard him. My brother had arrived. After learning of Lin Xian's schemes, I had sent a swift letter to my family. My mother sent my brother to the capital to stand up for me. Seeing him again, I couldn't hold back my tears. In my past life, once Lin Xian rose to power, he not only forgot the Wang family's support but repaid them with cruelty. He accused them of false crimes, sending the men into exile and the women into official slavery. Lin Xian, since you hold no regard for our marriage, let us part ways today, never to meet again. He refused to sign the divorce papers unless I left all my dowry as compensation. Compensation? What a joke. I had toiled for the Lin household for decades, without my family's wealth. He would still be a nobody, and now he dared to speak of divorce. He had it all figured out. But I had prepared. The next day, I went to the magistrate and beat the drum, accusing Lin Xian of favoring his concubine over his wife and scheming against her. Your Honor, since taking a concubine, Lin Xian has been increasingly hostile toward me. Now he has even attempted to defile my virtue. I beg for your justice. He protested loudly. Wang, we had a small quarrel, and now you bring me to court. Unbelievable. Such a cruel wife is a curse on any household. Lin Yao, showing off her pregnant belly in the crowd, sneered at me and told everyone, my mother has always been like this, she only ever thinks of herself. She's utterly selfish. The crowd whispered and pointed, sympathizing with Lin Xian. What a pity for Lord Lin. It's probably her fault he has no sons. No wonder he favors his concubine. Who could stand that? She deserves to be unloved. Poor you, to have such a mother. Calmly, I presented the captured man to the magistrate for interrogation. Terrified, he confessed everything. The crowd erupted, hurling vegetables at Lin Xian. Seeing the trouble, Lin Yao slipped away. Lin Xian quickly pushed Lady Bai forward as a shield and wept, claiming he had been deceived. But this was a family matter, and I hadn't expected a full victory in court. I asked the magistrate to grant a divorce. Under the law, a divorced husband must return the wife's dowry in full and pay compensation. The magistrate agreed. and Lin Xian had no choice but to sign the papers and return my belongings. My brother had the guards check every item of my dowry, and we took all the servants with us. The Lin household was left a hollow shell. In my past life, I had known how to navigate the palace and help Lin Xian rise. Why couldn't I do the same for my brother? The emperor, who had once despised favoring concubines, was now doing the same, showing signs of wanting to depose the heir. Men were all the same. The Wang family would fund the crown prince, and he would elevate them. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement. Before long, my brother was appointed a royal merchant and granted a 6th rank title. The Wang family had finally put down roots in the capital. Lin Xian, without the Wangs, couldn't even keep his grand house. He moved to a small alley. Lady Bai was pregnant, and Lin Xian, thinking he had a second chance, made her his wife and spread rumors against me. But when I had the guards send the thugs who spread those rumors to the authorities, he stopped. Lin Yao's husband was as worthless as ever. Her dowry was spent, and her maid had become his concubine. Their household was a constant mess, the neighbors laughing at them. Lin Yao lost her child in the fighting. When she went to Lin Xian for help, Lady Bai threw her out, and Lin Xian disowned her. She came crying to me, "Mother, look at what you've done to me. If you had given me a proper dowry, I wouldn't be treated so poorly. You owe me." She blamed me for her misfortunes, while forgetting it was she who had insisted on chasing love. "What exactly do you want?" I asked flatly. "I want you to get Red Lang a 6th rank post," she demanded. "Do you think 6th rank posts grow on trees? I owe you nothing. You chose your own path, now walk it. I can't help you. Go home." Lin Yao flew into a rage. "Why won't you help me? You're the one who ruined me." She lunged at me with her hairpin, but the guard stopped her. In the chaos, she hit a pillar and fell unconscious. I was about to have her thrown out when she suddenly opened her eyes. She sat up, holding her head, and before she was fully awake, shouted at the guards, "How dare you common brutes touch me? Guards, have them beheaded." Everyone was stunned by her nonsense. Then she saw me, and recoiled, terrified. A ghost. "Guards, protect me." I never thought I'd meet her like this again. In my past life, I was infamous. The Grand Secretary had divorced me, earning praise from all of Beijing. They called him righteous. And Lin Yao, in mourning, came to see her destitute mother, so it was said, spreading the tale far and wide. No one knew she hadn't even stepped down from her carriage. She only sent the lowest-ranked palace maid to throw me 2 moldy pastries, and said 2 words, "Your karma." I couldn't help but laugh. "Yao Yao, what's wrong?" She trembled, pointing at me. "You're not dead. I knew it. You've always been scheming. Why can't you just die quietly? I am the Empress. Send me back to the palace at once." She thought this was another trick, unaware that her mother had starved to death in the snow. Just then, the servant I'd sent after her husband returned. Lin Yao, still terrified, saw him and ran to him. "Red Lang, I missed you." He shoved her away and slapped her. "What are you raving about, Red Lang? It's me, Yao Yao." But he was too busy apologizing to me. He knew how to play the game. She couldn't believe it. "It's all that woman's fault. She separated us." I smiled. "No one will separate you now." He dragged her home, and she left with a strange smile, content that she had married him in this life. But within a day, she was back, banging on the Wang's door. "Mother, please help me." I almost ignored her, but I wanted to see her face after getting what she thought she wanted. "Mother, I don't want to be Red Lang's wife. I want to be Empress." She cried. "What are you saying? I know you have the means. Please, even if not Empress, just any official's wife." She knew I had helped her become Empress in the past life. Back then, she had only a little more cunning, but she'd used it well. Now, she had nothing. She couldn't reach me, blocked by my guards. "Why won't you help me? I'm your daughter. Why won't you make me Empress again?" I sighed, looking at her disheveled state. My once sweet daughter, how had she become this? She had been so frail as a child, my only one, and I cherished her. Now she was cold, selfish, and empty. But our bond ended in the past life. "Take her to the authorities," I ordered. "If she comes again, throw her out." I would have nothing more to do with her, living or dead. Lin Xian, however, still owed me, and the Wangs. I paid him back in kind, without skills or discipline. He quickly burned through his remaining wealth. A little lure, and he was addicted to gambling. At any gambling den, you'd find him there. Lord Zhang, his old enemy, used the chance to impeach him for incompetence. The emperor stripped him of his rank, banning him from office forever. His former friends shut their doors. Some even turned on him. Desperate, Lin Xian came to me again, dragging Lady Bai along. I was wrong. I'm sorry, he pleaded. I won't blame you for not giving me a son. Lady Bai is pregnant with my child. For her sake, please help me. His shamelessness was astounding. Lady Bai cried prettily. Sister, please have mercy. We've nothing left. I laughed. Whose child did you say this was? Lady Bai's eyes darted. My lords, of course. If you help us, you can be its mother. I said slowly. The child of a servant and a concubine. What does that have to do with me? Lady Bai's face turned pale. Then she put on a pitiful act. Sister, how can you be so cruel? I laughed. Lin Xian, go see a doctor. He raged. I knew you were a wicked woman. I had him thrown out. Lady Bai, however, was clever. She took everything and eloped with her lover, convincing Lin Xian it was all a lie. Lin Xian became the city's laughingstock. He came back one last time, begging to reunite. I see now, it was all Lady Bai's fault. Please, I've changed. He was thrown out again. He appeared daily at the Wang Gate, singing ballads about regret. But before I could act, he vanished. In his place, a mad beggar appeared on the west side, raving that he was the Grand Secretary, his daughter the Empress, demanding others bow to him. The authorities gave up on him. In the winter snow, another beggar froze to death, much like I had in a past life. With everything settled, I decided to start anew. Taking my brother's hand, I smiled and said, I'm setting a small goal, to open Wang family branches all across the empire. Brother's side story. My name is Wang Qingyuan, the adopted son of the Wang family. Fearing that after their passing, I might be mistreated, I was taken in and raised. As a child, I was told, Big brother is so good, I want to marry him when I grow up. Only a child's words. To protect her, I worked hard, and the Wang family flourished. Just as I was about to propose, she announced she would marry a scholar from Wanlu Academy. If I couldn't be her husband, I would remain her brother. That was my purpose. I investigated him. He was from a good family, hardworking, but I sensed calculation in his affection. Still, I thought I could make him stay true. I was young and foolish, forgetting that people change. In my past life, Lin Xian let her starve on the street. The Wangs had been destroyed. I escaped exile, killed the guards, and lived in hiding, waiting to bring the Lin family down. I gathered the deposed crown prince's supporters and led the attack on the capital. I executed Lin Xian myself. Death was too easy. I didn't kill Lin Yao. I let her suffer. Even with revenge, the dead don't return. I ended my life at her grave, only to wake in the past. This time, I would protect her, protect the Wangs. Lin Yao was still a menace. I bribed her maid to add strange powders to her meals. Better to make her a fool and prevent her from harming anyone. Lin Xian tried to call her back, but I wouldn't allow it. I supported the crown prince again. It was a good deal. I became an official and moved the family to the capital. When I saw her again, I knew she had also been reborn. She didn't say it, neither did I. After her divorce, Lin Xian spread lies. I should have cut out his tongue. Lin Yao also came to beg her, and though she softened, I would not. I had the maid increase the dose. Lin Yao would truly be a fool. Lord Zhang had a grudge against Lin Xian, so I encouraged him. Lin Xian was nothing, but losing his post was too easy. I had him scarred, and when he began ranting that he was the Grand Secretary, I laughed. Let him play his part in the beggar's den. Brother, come eat. I hurried to help her. You're heavily pregnant, let the servants cook. I wanted to make you a meal. She smiled, and as I watched her, content, I knew my only wish was for her to be happy forever. After listening to this story, what do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Looking forward to hearing from you.